I quit 2D animation and switched to 3D after a year. Here's why. You see, back in 2021, I had the golden idea to make a 2D indie animation pilot with the bare minimum experience. I thought to myself, how hard could it be? I mean, I've animated in 2D before, what would a whole pilot do to me? And well, you know, it went as well as you would expect. I failed. I created these incredibly complicated 2D rigs, and by the time I had finished writing the script for the pilot, I had already added so many characters, so I would have to make a rig for each of them, and it's not like the flat type of rigs. These would be more complicated 360 kind of rigs, which I'm showing you right now, if you're watching the video. Because Lord knows I wasn't going to be able to animate everything in frame by frame, not with just me, myself, and I. Unleashed was a passion project, and I wanted to bring it to the real world with very little experience. Which is why I started thinking, why did I ever switch out of 3D? Don't get me wrong, 3D isn't exactly easy or cheap to make. It requires a very strong GPU, and it requires a lot of other stuff that you don't really need in 2D. The thing is, it helps out to work out in the 3D space, because you don't have to think of the angles or figure out the Pythagorean theorem on how to make this composition shot look cool and cinematic. Because the program kind of does that for you. It's not easy, but it's definitely easier than whatever this is. Heck, even in 2D shots, there's a lot of animators and illustrators that use 3D as a reference, so that way they save a lot more time. If you look at, let's say, Murder Drones from Glitch Productions, there's a reason that it's made in 3D. Look at the models. Everything there looks very similar because they're reusing assets in order to save time and money. This was before they were the powerhouse that they are now, but now they can afford more things. But back then, they had to kind of, scavenge resources to try to see what they could use and not use. And honestly, this is the same production formula I want to use, because unfortunately, as some of you may know, I suffer from a rare chronic condition called being broke. Okay, I heard no one heard me outside. I'm inside like a public recording room, but it's closed down, but I really hope nobody's listening right now. But that's the reason I want to go into 3D from now on. I've got the resources to build and buy a few assets that could help me, make this project see the light of day. As well as I'm already familiar with the animation pipeline for 3D. I've done a lot of it, and I've worked on a lot of things regarding it, and I'm gonna cut that part out. At least for the time being, so until I have the resources and the knowledge to be able to do a 2D pilot. Unleashed is a project I hold near and dear to my heart, and honestly, I've been trying to work on it for many years now, with its stories, its characters, music. Thank you, Gita, by the way. Very professional, very good work, but for now I have to place it on pause. At least for now, until I'm able to do it the way I feel it deserves to be done. Or else, risk never having a project see the light of day, whichever comes first. Now, if you say this long with me, you're probably thinking, so what's next? What's the next big idea? Why did I subscribe to your channel, huh? Wow, where's my money? Where's my content? I really hope I didn't scream that loud. I'm bringing back and finishing an old idea I had for a while now, and a lot of older fans from the channel might know this one. That's right, the Last Solar Sentinel is back on production. It's about a robot that comes back to life 1,000 years after the sun disappears from the Earth, and what he finds is exactly what he was meant to prevent. I'm going to be uploading weekly dev vlogs showing you guys the behind the scenes of the rigging, the final renders. You can't see my fingers, but I'm actually doing this. If you want to see this thing finished, please consider subscribing or leaving a comment of what you guys want to see, because the only way a 3D animated series gets built from zero is if people like you show up for it. I had to read it because I wrote this down. I'm just really bad at remembering so thank you everyone for watching and staying around. Stay golden and see you guys later. Bye. Also, a very quick disclaimer here. I know that this is very similar to this. I just want to say, I've designed this character way before I even knew what Murder Drones was. The fact that I used it as an example is pretty ironic.